starting a business, all right? Or you're like, man, yeah, my romantic life is great, so it's not that bad. And then you're like, wow, I've been alone in my studio bedroom apartment for 4 months. This is horrible, right? So everybody that's here, at least you came to a realization you got to do something about your life. You're different than everybody else. You got to do something about your life. So I applaud that, all right? So round of applause for everybody, for yourself. Just for yourself for being here. So, all right. By the way, how far can I walk, camera guys? Out of shot? All right. So we got mirror, there. All right, cool. So, am I retiring the old content? Yes. But what that means is it's going to get better. It's going to get better. This is like back in the day when you had the old Nokia phones. I don't know if anybody here is like 30 or 28. We used to have the old Nokia phones where you had to press the button 3 times to get the letter A when you sent the text. Now, you don't want to be stuck with that old technology. Daddy's got new technology for you today. New stuff. We're just upgrading you, okay? We're not leaving the old stuff behind, but we're taking the old stuff and advancing it to the modern day. Because the world has changed. The world has changed. Dating is dead. End of my speech. Thank you very much, guys. Mic drop moment. Thank you. All right. You're like, that's so depressing. I came here to get motivated. He drops that on me. Come on, you kind of know it's true though, right? Am I the only one that's seen this? Am I the only one that has Tinder in this room? Over the last year? What happened in the last year? Yeah, dead. Every single person that had a phone stayed in their home over the last year and made a Tinder account. And then your competition went from like 5% of all guys to like 100,000% of every single human being on earth became your competition online. So if you had a little bit of a chance, you had no chance pretty much like by February, March of like 2020, okay? Dating just changed. And now I see this like dynamic between men and women that I've never seen before because I think women are having a lot more opportunities than ever, right? We're in Miami here, it's crazy. It's like this girl could go have a coffee with me or she can hop on a boat. This is what I'm up against. Coffee, boat. Coffee, boat. She really likes her pumpkin spice latte, but that boat's pretty good offer, you know? The boat's pretty good. So it's a bit of a challenge, right? The balance is so off. And also, I think the balance is off because the dynamic has changed where I think a lot of guys don't know themselves anymore. You might have spent the last year understanding what your career is. You don't know what your career is. You have to change careers. Anybody have to change careers in this room, by the way? Show of hands. Look at that. 25% of the room had to change your careers, okay? Had to change your career. So you're like, maybe your career defined you as a person. You don't know who you are as a person anymore because you really attached your identity to your career. All right, it's kind of messed up. You're going through, trying to figure yourself out. At the same time, you're like trying to put yourself out in the social marketplace to meet people. You feel weird about that, right? And then maybe at the same time, women's standards have went up. Maybe the standard of women's went because according to the reports in America, more women are graduating from universities, thankfully, than ever before. Thankfully, they're getting better jobs than ever before. But you're, woo, that Taylor in the back, woo. One person in the back. All right. So, and everybody else who applauded silently in their minds, of course, in their hearts. So that's changed. But now, if your role was a provisioner before, you're not as necessary anymore, right? Because people can provide for themselves. You're not as necessary anymore. So it's like, all right, what's my role in this world? Who do I be? It's like you don't really feel as certain as you used to be. So all this is going on. So the whole dating market has been taken and flipped on its ass and shoved up, kicked in the ass with a big steel toe boot, and now it's bleeding. And that's dating these days. All right? It's totally dead. It's totally dead. Now, thank God you're here because you're going to learn something today about how to repackage it. I think the idea of just dating is finished. I think what you got to do is you got to look at it holistically as who you are as a person. What brings you happiness in your life? What is your path? What is your purpose? How do you find yourself? What do you bring to the social marketplace? Are you surrounded by low-value people your whole time? Are you able to actually have a network of other men and people that respect you and offer you situations? You got to look at all this in the big picture, man. Big, big picture, like take it up 20,000 foot perspective from outside your bedroom and really just think about what is going on and how you're going to change this up and what are you going to do in your life right now. This is the best opportunity to do this ever. I don't think the last year was a bad thing. I think it was a great thing. It gave you an opportunity to say, do I want my job or do I want to invest in Bitcoin and Ethereum? Do I want to learn stocks? Do I want to work on my social skills? Do I finally want to get a handle? You know, there's people that were like, oh, I'm going to learn social dynamics later on. Good luck. It might not even exist later on. So let's do it now that we have the chance, all right? So what do we got here? I want to find out what makes, or can't even read that from the screen so far. Okay, what have you got going on in your life? What's going on in your lives right now, guys? I want to pass the mic around and talk to you. I don't want to make this just only about me spitting knowledge here and dropping gems. I want to find out what is going on in your life that you're not happy about, and I want to find out what has got you effed up that you got to change. Because if we keep this a two-way conversation, it'll be a lot more interesting, all right? Yeah, Davy Crockett, please hand the mic to the first gentleman, to Childish Gambino.
I'm hoping to grow and do the kind of stuff that you guys are doing. I end up training my own coaches just like this.
Cool. How old are you?
I'm 21.
All right, so you're 21. My guess is you have limited to no business experience.
Yes.
Yeah, because at 21, you're not going to have a lot. You might have the ambition, the ideas, but you don't know if it's the right time for the ideas. You know how to execute it. You also don't know how to make your business recession-proof yet because you're 21, right? So that's the piece that's missing. So you could have the best ideas, but you could be too far ahead of your time. Anybody know what I'm talking about?
Yeah.
Okay. To those who don't know, let me explain it to you. When I was 14 years old, so you can know how fucking old I am now. I'm in my late 30s. When I was 14 years old, I invented the debit machine that comes to your front door. You know, like when Domino's Pizza comes and delivers it to you? I invented that when I was 14 years old. And I went to an idea patent place to actually patent it. The problem was I couldn't get a working prototype when I was 14 years old, right? I couldn't get the prototype to work functionally. So I missed that opportunity. Lo and behold, 5 years later, I think it was like Moneris Bank or Chase Banks invents it and it works, right? So my idea wasn't bad, but I had no business experience. I was too young and I was ahead of my time. I was too visionary. That's probably the problem that me and Owen had the most. Like, we're too visionary, we're too far out. We're thinking 5 years in advance. So the challenge that you're gonna have is you gotta think about what is the right time. You gotta think about a principle called cause and correlation, which you don't even know yet, we'll get into today. And you gotta think about how do I get more depth of experience, okay? Because the idea can be fire, but then it comes down to the execution.
So I've executed and I've tracked all of my metrics. I've given about 179 lessons, about at less than 150. I dropped like my best month was last June, and I decided that I should just go start working on the whole marketing back end. So for about 6 months, I was working on a script for a free online course. There's no free online course that teaches the entire game of tennis. 2 months ago, I finished building my website, and now I'm shooting and editing my own videos for tennis instruction.
Cool. So what's your challenge you're having?
The challenge that I'm having is just my energy levels.
Right.
And like, I remember one of the videos that Owen shot was talking about how if you overthink things, you're actually going to end up messing it up. Like, one of the problems that I had during those 6 months was that I was trying to write this perfect script. And my idea of filming the course was going to be going out and looking at my phone every 5 seconds to just read the words off of the script.
Yeah.
And cutting those out.
Okay, I'm gonna jump in right here. So as a guy who's 21, you have unlimited energy right now, pretty much, well, unlimited, much more than you have when you're 30. I think when you're like 20, in your 20s, you have about 4 bursts of energy to like just kill the dragon, just slay it in any area of your life. As you get into your 30s, you have about 2 bursts of energy, and when you hit 40, you have about 1 left. You're like one or 2 left in the gas tank, okay? So right now you're in a good spot, but for every level, there's a new devil. And for every time you work harder, there's also opportunity to lose families and friends, or, you know, it gets really crazy. But there's parts that you have that are great, but parts that you have that are missing, I'll get more into. Thank you very much for sharing, bro. Anybody else? What are some of the effed up things that are going on in your life right now things that you're really trying to work on?
Hello. So, my name is Madison. I'm 18 years old. Found out this stuff when I was like 15, and this is my first event, so I'm really excited to do it. I was in college last semester. I dropped out because COVID college sucks, and all my classes was like Zoom University. It wasn't real college, so I dropped out. And then I was like, what am I going to do with my life now? And I decided to start a social media marketing agency. I decided like 2 weeks ago, so that's what I've been doing. So in terms of what's the most difficult thing, it's more of just me learning as much as I possibly can about business because I don't know jack shit.
Right.
And just trying to get myself out there so I can make something of myself.
Right. Where'd you learn your social media marketing stuff from?
So I'm learning from Semen.
Okay. So here's the good part, here's the bad part, all right? I don't want to break your heart, bro. I'm going to be honest with you. I get about 10 DMs a day from people offering me social media marketing services. About 10, literally, when you like open my phone right now and it's like, hey Madison, I'm a big fan of your channel. By the way, I just wonder about your Facebook ads. Who does your funnels? Da, 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 every day. Now the challenge you're going to have is the same thing as this guy, where he's younger, right? You're going to put a lot of energy into the wrong areas, and you're not going to have a defining set of principles that guarantee you success yet. You don't know. You're going to fail forward a lot. You understand what I mean when I say fail forward?
Yeah.
You're going to make mistakes in order to learn and fail forward a lot. But that might get you exhausted before you actually hit that success that you want. So what you need to get, what we're talking about today, is a whole bunch of tools that get you to like where you want to be without having to fail so much. Right? See what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Cool. Thank you very much. Anybody else? We'll do one more. Talk about I want to hear something about like your personal lives, your social lives as well.
Hi everyone, I'm watching this. A year ago.
They can't hear you. And your mic, bro. They can barely hear you. A little louder.
Hello.
Hello.
Hi, I'm watching this. A year ago I was training for the military for a whole year. It was tough because you have to do a PST, a physical standard test, prior to it. And I was training for the Navy special warfare. And I kept failing. I ended up passing actually the one at the grade I wanted, and I failed again and lost that grade. And I got it another grade. I actually think I would have enjoyed more, air estimate. And I was fine with that. And I was about to go to the military, and I was happy, I was excited. And something happened. Sorry, I just kind of surprised myself. And then they said, sorry, you can't go. And I had failed so much. I had to get multiple tests. Like I had to go through exams. I had to do like the training I did because, in all honesty, I'm not the right. I'm not that healthy, guys. I'm not the fittest guy.
How old are you?
I'm 20 right now.
You're 20. Okay, a lot of guys are 20 in this room. Okay.
That was,
What's your passion? Like, what are you good at?
well, I'm good.
Yeah. Do you know?
I'm trying to figure out how I am.
Awesome. So you have no clue.
Yeah.
Excellent. At least you know you don't know.
Yeah.
I hate people that are like, I know what I'm going to do. I'm going to make soap from my basement and sell it on eBay and Amazon. Get a Shopify. You're like, what? You have no talent in making soap. At least you don't know what you don't know, right? So the next part for you is going to be like figuring out what your path, your purpose is, what you're really good at. There's this line that says, if you show me a man with a skill, I can show him how to make a mill, as long as he's got the right skill. Then you got to figure out how to market that skill, right? You're trying to just pull all the pieces together. You're kind of like, you're in the in the phase right now where you're walking around trying to figure out where the light switch is in the dark, and you're trying to figure out like, what do I do now and what's next? So definitely the right place. Definitely the right place. Thank you for sharing that, man. We'll get into that in a bit. I want to hear one more of anybody who's got like a relationship or dating issue that they've been trying to solve, and not like, I'm afraid to approach. Like something like a little bit, where you actually put your balls on the line a little bit more. Yeah, this brother right here.
Hey, what's going on, everybody? My name is Steve. I've been following artists for 10 years now. And my biggest issue has been that for various periods of time over my life, I've been, I guess, stuck, So I've progressed in many areas, like confidence, my self-image, but I always go back to that place, like dark place, you know? And like, I'm trying to integrate that into myself, and I don't know what's the best way to do that. Relating it to the social dynamics of things in dating is like, how do I feel more joy, or how do I vibrate higher so that I can attract those situations to my life and get myself in that dark place, or become friends with it so that I can vibrate higher and get to higher levels.
Make peace with the dark side of the game.
Yeah.
Okay. So we're talking darkness. Are we talking like lots of pornography? Are we talking about excessive drinking? Like, what are we talking about when we say darkness?
I guess there's a part of that.
Okay. Either or. You're flexible. A little bit of both. A little bit of column A. Look, it depends if it's a Monday or if it's a Friday. Either way. Okay. A little bit of darkness. All right. So, yeah, man. Yeah. That's really big, right? Because right now you're trying to manage it. Maybe you're trying to repress it so it goes away. Maybe you're trying to like do some trauma releases so you feel good in the moment. But it's like now you got to step into the real world and how you deal with the real world. I don't think that darkness is something you completely ever get rid of, but I think it's something you can manage and people can respect you for it. You know what I'm saying? As long as it doesn't overwhelm your life. Like I think of like a lot of funny, hilarious comedians, like either like Robin Williams, or I think of even like DMX lately, right? Like guys battling his demons honestly, and we can relate to him for that. But we just got to get to a point where it doesn't overwhelm our life. A lot of guys come to me on a boot camp program, and one of the first things they want to work on is how do they have fun without alcohol? They have no idea how to do it. They've never done it. I always teach them how to be like in a good state and a good vibe throughout a whole night without alcohol. How to feel drunk without drinking. So, you know, maybe it's like you might drink or watch porn to celebrate. You might drink or watch porn when it's like a bad day. Use it for both. To celebrate and have a shitty day. Porn and drinking are there either day. But it's like, how do you create an ecosystem in your life where you're happy and you don't need that? So we're gonna get to that right now. Thank you for sharing, brother. Give me a round of applause for that. All right. So the goal is to go from simp to high value man, high value person, also to keep it politically correct, okay, to everybody. So simp is just kind of like a very general term. It's like lame. It's like you're in the cloud of doom and sadness. You know, you have no path or purpose. You're emotionally a limp penis. That's simp, okay? And then high value person to me, in my definition, doesn't mean that you have to look like Madison. Doesn't mean you have to get a leather jacket and a big ass gold chain from New York. That's not high value, okay? Everybody has their own definition of what high value is and what it can be for them. So to one guy, how high value might mean having a house and kids, and that's his ideal life. Another guy might be, you know, getting a career where he makes a difference in the world, and he's a doctor, and he's like out in Somalia volunteering at hospitals, and that's high value to him. So whatever your definition of high value is, it's like you have to define what is valuable in your life, and that ideal person that you want to become. Okay, so that's what we're looking for. The first step is going to be eradicating all simp behaviors, just deleting them from your system. So this is a list of the general things that I think are simp behaviors. You can, if you want, write this down, but let me tell you something. It's not going to be necessary to write all the things down today. The most important thing today is to get the big picture ideas. You can write it down, but I want to encourage you, don't feel like, oh, if I write it down, I walked out with all the knowledge and I got it. No. You just have an idea. We still got to install that stuff to you guys in a live program. We got to install it. And that's very different than just watching it here on the screen, okay? So, hello. The first one we mentioned is porn and flapping. By the way, can I get some water up here? Totally exasperated from the lack of water. All right, I'm going to work the room a little bit. He's giving me his water. Thank you. Is it open? No. COVID. Okay. Thank you. So the first one is porn and fapping. All right. So this is not going to be a talk about like if porn is good or bad. I'm not going to talk about that. What I am going to talk about is I do believe that semen retention is a real thing. I do believe that. Okay, because I won't tell you my full experience with it, but I will tell you that I'm a guy personally. I don't masturbate at all. I don't. And that's because I feel like when I masturbate, I'm actually like losing. I'm like, I masturbated. It's like game over, you know? But for you, you might feel like, it's a release. I deserve it. But what happens if you like start masturbating when you don't deserve it? What happens in your brain to your pleasure reward hardwiring? Just shout it out, do you know? Hijacks it, yeah. Like your pleasure and pain rewarding in your brain starts to be like, oh, I had a semen release and everything's great in my life. But really nothing's great in your life. You've been in lockdown for a year. And that's a very dangerous thing. Same thing for women, by the way. Like, same thing for women, by the way. I noticed one girl, you know the Theragun? Those massage things they sell you on Instagram, the Theragun? She has a Theragun. And now she can't climax anymore at all. And I'm just like, she's like, I don't know why I can't climax. I'm like, you destroyed your body. Hey, you're 26. You can't go back now, right? It's like too much. So the thing that happens with us is, listen, I probably would not have told you this 10 years ago. 10 years ago, I would have been in this room and been like, listen, man, just have fun. Just like go for it if you've never gone for it before. Just like have some experiences if you never had them. I would have told you that 10 years ago. But I do believe you can go too far with this stuff. I do believe that if you're intimate with somebody, you are sharing a portion of your soul with them. There is something that happens, and I can't really describe it. You know, like your semen is the most precious thing you have. It is like the DNA of your ancestors. It is your literal DNA of who you are as a person. And then you're just like, tie it in there and just flush it down the toilet. Right? But think about what happens to you like on a DNA level when you share that. Right? And you're sharing it and sharing it and sharing. There's an energetic thing that happens, man. You might have seen people like I'm not going to say it's for everybody. I don't know everybody. I'm not judging anybody. You know, work is work. But have you ever seen like a sex worker either at a strip club or just somewhere in the street of Amsterdam and like the soul has like left their eyes? They're just like dead in the eyes a little bit. You got to ask yourself, why does that happen? Is it because it's just the job? Well, if it is, then why do they not feel fulfilled? Because there is a part of you that happens to like leave your body at that moment, right? So if you're just sharing that with everybody and you're not actually like being cautious of that, it feels fun, but I do believe there's a long-term effect you gotta be careful about. So this is one of the behaviors you want to at least manage in your life or look into managing, okay? Next one over here, struggles with, what does that say? Number 2 on the list. Struggles with boundaries. So I get this a lot. People come to me for some reason and they're like, Madison, you're really good at boundaries. I'm like, huh? It's something I had to work on my whole life. And I think people that are like in simp behavior, trapped in that simp identity, have really soft boundaries. Either it's the coworker at your work that you work with at a project, and what he does is he takes like credit for the project, even though you've worked together. You like work for weeks on the weekend, you're putting in over hours, and then he presents it like he did it, he gets all the respect. Or it's your other coworker, right, who you're working with, and you're going for the promotion, and then all of a sudden, the boss is like, yeah, we'll review it. Don't worry, you're in line for the promotion. Next thing you know, they hired some rando off the internet rather than giving it to you, okay? Or the boundary could be with you and your family and your parents, where they want you to grow up, if you're Asian, they want you to grow up and like be a doctor. It's called Asians, not Bejans in school. Get A's, right? Got you playing the violin at age 10 and the piano, and they want you to marry the right person, and you don't know how to express that you want to have a different kind of life. You want to be an artist. I want to be a painter. My son's not going to be a painter. He's going to be a doctor, like his father before him, right? We're putting these pressures on you. So boundaries are super important. Learning to enforce those boundaries and put them into your life. What's number 3 on the list there? That was so sloppy. What's number 3 there, guys? Okay, I heard control. That's what I heard. Okay, controlling family nucleuses. Your family nucleus. All right. This is going back. This is going to go deep. We're going to go deep with this knife right here. This is like generational trauma. Your mother, your grandfather did something to your mom. it fucked up your mom and your dad, and now you're trying to deal with it. You know, so like your grandfather was like an alcoholic, and then he beat your grandma, and then your mom saw this her whole life. She's like, I'm never gonna let that happen again. I'm never gonna let a man control me. I'm independent. And then she like totally like just focused on her career the whole time and never gave you any attention as a child. Boom, right? Generational trauma, right? Not being aware of this. If it adds up and adds up, we don't handle it, it becomes a huge problem. It affects our behaviors. Maybe you grew up as a mama's boy. Your mom tried to give you masculine behaviors and then she couldn't do that. Maybe you grew up with a dad who was like an army dad who was super, super strict and never gave you any positive reinforcement. And so you doubted yourself. You felt undervalued the whole time because you never got any value from outside in your family nucleus. What's number 4 on the list? Read it out. Yeah, clothing from the Gap. You look like you wear clothing from the Gap. There's a lot of you here right now, not gonna name any names, but you didn't put any effort in your clothing. And we're in Miami right now, boys. We're in Miami. This is Summit. You could literally walk outside right now, go to the Publix market, and like meet the person of your dreams at the Publix market across the street, okay? That's very, very possible. I know because it happened to me yesterday, all right? Just going to the Western Union and all of a sudden, bam, okay, in the frozen food section. So it can happen to you. But you gotta dress like you're ready for the part. Here's the thing. Do looks matter? Hands up if looks matter. Okay. Hands down if looks, okay, now hands up if looks don't matter is what I'm trying to say. If looks don't matter, hands up. All right. So the people who said looks matter, why do looks matter?
Because women have to be
First impression, attracted to you.
Health signal.
Status, health signal. Yeah, it's all the above. It's not that the actual like look, like the physical look of your face matters as much as how you're showing up. You show up like a bum or you show up to a bum as the rest of your life. You know? Your style helps you to identify with the group that you want to be a part of. Does that make sense? If you dress like them, they think you're part of that group. It's like those dudes that are like at the club at bottle service that wear the black hat with the black sweatshirt and the black tight jeans and the white like Air Forces. It's like they look like they're in the club, so they're part of the club group. If you look the part, then you can be the part. It just says to the person, hey, I'm part of your world. That's it, part of your world. There's something interesting going on about me. But if you look like you don't care, you don't dress like shit, which most simps do, then you're screwed. You're screwed before you open your mouth. Because how you show up says everything about you, okay? What's the next one on the list? Lack of physical discipline. Oh man, let's go here. This is live on YouTube, so my channel's gonna get banned after this, all right, guys? I'm gonna get banned from YouTube for saying what I think. The algorithm's gonna destroy me. All right, we'll do it anyways. Go out with a bang. Go out in flames. All right, so it's not about like if you are in shape or not in shape, it's what it says about your discipline of your life, right? Like, six-pack abs are like cool. It's cool to have abs. What's it really say though? It says the person had the discipline to be healthy, to monitor their exercise daily. The person that was committed, they followed through. It's not so much the muscles, it's like, what did it say, right? And now, I'm not telling you to get abs. I'm not telling you to get abs, but I am telling you to be disciplined physically, right? There's 2 people that came out of COVID. First person got COVID-20, which means they gained 20 pounds in COVID. The COVID-20, 2020 COVID, put on 20 pounds. And there's people that lost 20 pounds. I came out losing actually 15% body fat. I don't know if you guys can tell, probably not. All right, thank you. Thank you. I lost 15% body fat in COVID. I got my chin-ups where I have an additional like 35 pounds of weight, and I got my dips to like dipping about 45, 50 pounds, like on just the regular dips, okay? Like really like functional fitness, got a trainer, started monitoring everything in my scale. I travel with the scale. I'm that annoying guy. I go to the restaurant, they bring the food, I'm like, I slide the scale up my pocket and I put it on the table and I measure the macros, okay? I'm that guy. And the only reason why I do it is because I love to be that guy. Like whether I get bigger or smaller or muscle, or I just love to be that guy. I love to be the fact that I'm disciplined. Because when you start to be disciplined, what happens is other areas of your life you start to show up like with confidence, right? So I'm doing the little macro thing, I'm going to the gym. What happens if you go to the gym like 3 days a week and then you start to feel confident because you know that you're finally being a person who commits to yourself, and then you see somebody that you want to meet and you walk up to them and you feel like you deserve to meet that person because you know you've been keeping your promises to yourself all day. Does that make sense? By the way, okay, camera guys, up to here? Good to hear? All right. So imagine this. Most of the time you see somebody like out in the street you want to go meet, and you're like, oh, that person looks amazing, I want to go meet them. But I kind of don't feel like I deserve it. I don't feel like I deserve it. So then you got to like put on the song and dance. Here comes the shtick, as Jeff would have said earlier. Here comes the shtick. And you put on your fake personality. Hello, nice to meet you. Where are you from? How old are you? Where'd you go to school? That's nice. What are you doing today? Stick, stick, stick. And you're doing that because you haven't been that dedicated person to yourself all day. If you were that person to yourself all day, you would feel like you deserved it. And when you walk up to the other person, it wouldn't be an act. It would just be how you're living your day, right? Well, if you got up and you made your bed, you counted your macros, you went to the gym 3 times a week, you would just feel different. You would feel like you deserved it. And that would bleed through in everything that you do. What I talk about, what me and Owen talk about the most, and kind of like what I was brought on the team to do, was not to teach you guys how to do. I'm here to teach you all how to be. There's levels to this shit, son. There's doing, which is like you do a behavior, you do an action, so you can have something. Then there's like being, and that's next level. Being is where you're just this person, and the stuff gravitates towards you in life eventually. That's the level I want to get you to. Not just doing, I want to get you to being. What's next on the list?
Not financially innovative.
Okay, so finances. I'm not saying, okay, there's guys in this room for sure that are millionaires. Okay? There's actually been billionaires in this room before. I met like Tony Hsieh a few years ago. RIP, shout out to Tony Hsieh from Zappos. I met him a few years ago at a summit like this. I met guys that are multimillionaires at summits like this, okay? So what I'm not, and I've also met guys that are college students here that like spent the last like $100 to get on like Southwest Airlines to come down here, okay? And we've been in both categories. I've been in the category where I went to Summit and I had 0 cash, and what I had to do was go to 7-Eleven. I made a $5 budget a day for eating at 7-Eleven. You go get the bananas for 59 cents, and you get a slice of pizza 2 for 1, and when you do that, they give you a big gulp for free. If anybody just wants to write that down, just go ahead and write that down. No shame, okay? I know the hustle. I've been there, you know? So I'm not talking about having a lot of money. I'm talking about the ability to generate revenue when you want. Mic drop. Completely different. There's one level which is called having a job. And as you learned this year, job could be gone. You work in hospitality, job can be gone. You were an airline fucking pilot, right? Had a house and a career to kids, job gone, right? Jobs can be gone, but there's something that's attractive about a man or a person that can generate revenue on command. That makes you high value. Simps get jobs. High value people learn the ability to generate revenue. Let that sink in for a second. I'll say it again. Simps get jobs. High value people learn the ability to generate revenue. I can literally like lose everything and then go and like generate lots of revenue next week. I'll share this with you guys as inside info, okay? A lot of my business is not on YouTube. It's not. My YouTube channel has like been just beaten to the core because of free speech lately, okay? It's just taking an assault. My YouTube channel was getting 1,000 views a month ago. Nothing. How much revenue do you think I did? No, I did 250,000 revenue in the last like 30 to 45 days, about 45 days. So what did I do? It's not like the channel, it's learning the ability to generate revenue, right? Those soft skills that are important. So you got to get out of this mindset, because anybody who, like any of the highest level, high value women in Miami want to meet somebody who is also a guy that can generate revenue. You don't need to have the yacht. You don't need to be the yacht dude. You don't. I was actually on a date last night with a girl who does yacht brokages. The sales guys ran. It was like 8 sales guys from the sales team ran up on this date, and I was like, oh shit, right? But you don't need to be the yacht guy. You just need to learn how to generate revenue on command, and you're more valuable than the yacht guy. Does that make sense? Because she's looking for a guy who, let's say, loses his job. You're married. 2 years come by. In 5 years, the next recession comes, and America has to actually pay its fucking debt. Because you guys racked up a lot of debt lately, okay? America has to pay its debt. 5 years from now, the recession comes. Your USD tanks. It's gonna happen eventually. Let's be real here, okay? You gotta have the skills to generate something out of nothing. That's more attractive than the job you have, all right? What's the next one we got on the list? Build and respect what? His sleep. His sleep.
Madison, real quick. When you talk about the different vehicles that one should start learning.
Yeah, just knocking out what is happening. We're knocking out the pains that are happening in your life first. See, so right now I'm trying to show you how fucking bad it is. Because a lot of people in this room are like, oh, wasn't that bad? No, it's pretty bad. You're literally bleeding. You're bleeding from your arm right now. You're gushing out blood and you don't even know. So I'm trying to point out to you how bad it is that you're actually bleeding to death before I prescribe some medicine to you to fix that. I'm making you aware of how bad it is. Because it's there on every single day in the background of your mind, like a hum that you don't hear. I'm trying to bring it to the forefront so you realize how fucked up your life is right now, okay? So, yeah, if you don't respect your sleep, when you're a young dude, young person, you're 20, 30, don't sleep. Just, hustle. 6 hours, 7 hours sleep max, just hustle. But what I've learned now is to respect my sleep. And the more that I respect it, the more I can kill it the next day, the more my mentality is on point, the more focused I am, the more on the ball I am. Okay, you gotta learn to respect it. Like everybody in RSD, we do about 45 cities a year when we're touring in different time zones. Bro, I have no circadian rhythm. If you guys don't know what that is, it's like when the sun goes down, your body says sleep. I don't have one because I'm in China. I'm in China the next week. I'm in Vancouver. And then the next week I'm in Poland. I don't have a sleep rhythm. We respect it so much. Put the blackout curtains, we get melatonin, we get the eye mask. I have a machine that I actually sleep with that gives me oxygen. So I'm if I sleep and I'm 10% more rested, that means I have 10% more energy to kill it the next day. That machine's worth it. It's worth $2 grand, right? I'm investing into that. So starting to respect your sleep is not a bad thing. It actually helps you. But a lot of guys that are on that Simp route just totally ignore their sleep. Okay. What do we got next on the list? Shout it out. Yeah. So this is the idea that you make excuses for where you're at. Make any kind of excuse you can find, right? So you make an excuse, I can't go out tonight. The clubs aren't really open. I can't go talk to that person. I got a mask on and they have a mask on. What am I gonna say? They can't see my facial expression. Just general excuses. And what I notice simps do is they make a lot of excuses. They don't take personal responsibility. If you're stuck in simp behavior, the first thing you need to do is ask yourself, what can I do about this? Even if you're not responsible, just ask, what can I do about this? You come, you sit in this room, let's say the tablecloth is messed up, you're like, what can I do about this? You come, there's no pen and paper for you and your buddy, what can I do about this? Just get out of the habit of saying, it's not for me, being a victim of the situation. Even if you're right, you can't be a victim. I'm gonna say some really controversial shit right now. You ready? More things can be banned on YouTube. Here we go. All right. All right. It's gonna be a trick question. Okay? So the Black Lives Matter campaign. Whoa. Who believes in it? Hands up. Okay, that's a very little. We got like a Republican room or something. Okay, I'm Canadian, so I don't have a dog in this fight. I don't care. I'm Canadian. Okay, so hands up if you do not believe in the Black Lives Matter campaign. Majority of the people. Okay, now keep your hands down. Notice how I didn't make you turn to the left or the right to see who that was. That was on purpose. Okay, so here's what I believe. Here's what I believe. Even as a black guy, do Black Lives Matter? Yeah. Should we like work on like stuff with the police? Yeah. Should we like work on like how things are seen and like racism? Yeah. But on the flip side, black guys should stop like shooting each other in the hood. We should like stop like focusing on spinning rims and like start learning about stock portfolios. You know what I'm saying? We were taught that shit. So I think there's generational trauma that makes us stuck in the victim mentality. You see what I'm saying? Out of all the black guys that I know, like besides like Brandon Carter and a few others, like, the ones that I grew up with, like I make more money than like my family, anybody else. But I didn't learn it from them. You see what I'm saying? Because they were stuck in like a different mentality. So they're stuck in like a victim mentality. Yeah, slavery was fucked up. Yes, some things happened, but what are you gonna do about it today? How are you gonna change it today? And people that are stuck in simp behavior have this rotate through all of their life. Their whole life has this victim mentality. Rather than saying first, what can I do about it? What can I do about it today? What can I do about it right now to get me out of victim mentality? Okay? You gotta be focusing on that. You gotta be focusing on that because it bleeds in to other areas of your life. It's like when you're talking to that girl and you're like, oh, she didn't text me back. It's like, okay, what can I do differently? What can I learn? She was mean anyways. No, what could you do? What could you do? How could you take responsibility for this even when you don't have to? By the way, it's a dope trait of entrepreneurs. I've noticed all entrepreneurs say, how can I take responsibility for this? Even if it's not their problem. They just go and they just fix it. They just fix it. Rather than waiting like for customer service to fix it or something else to happen, they just fix it, okay? So eradicate this behavior. Next one, Captain Save a blank. That was funny. There's a blank in there for a reason. It's for the algorithm, all right? For the YouTube algorithm. It's a blank on purpose. All right, so it's 2021, guys. So Captain Save a, you spend your life, like you spend your energy in relationship with people who don't respect you. This goes for males and females. Captain Save a bro if you're a female. This like can just drain you of your energy. Now here's why. 2 years focused on the wrong person can suck you of 3 years of productivity in your life. You put energy and you're investing into others who don't invest into you, your life is just, you don't have the energy to do other stuff, right? Ask any guy that's been like married and divorced. He's like, man, I've been struggling to get through this divorce for like 3-4 years and now it's done. And it's like, I lost a lot of money. I don't even know who I am anymore. But a lot of times the guys who are divorced come on boot camp programs and they're actually like excited because they're more motivated than anybody else. They have like something to lose, all right? So my point is, if you notice you have a pattern of like trying to help people that don't respect your help and don't want your help and don't return it, you gotta invest into others that are also only investing into you. More mic drops, okay. And last one we're going to be here. Tribe is all the same status or lower. What defines a high value guy to me is somebody that, or okay, let me actually say that again. What defines simp behavior to me is somebody that has a social life of people that have the same status of him or her or lower. That is your general circle. People of the same status. You need to figure out what's special about you, what you bring to the world, what your gifts are, and get around those other people. You know, they say you're the average of the 5 people you're around with. Well, that's really true. And if you're down low, you're stuck down low. A lot of the opportunities I had came from people that were just friends with me. The whole reason I'm even in this room is because Jeff, when I was friends with Jeff, and Jeff was like, yo, man, you want to come work with me? I'm like, cool. That's how this whole thing happened. I was not even planning it, right? Because Jeff was in my social circle. So the people you have in your social life, you need to have 1/3 of them that are like lower than you. And I just to be honest, but lower is lower, okay? Lower is like they need your help, like you're helping them, you're mentoring them. Because when you teach them, they're learning from you, and you're learning how to teach. Both people get helped out. There's a reward for both people here. You're helping them, you're learning by helping them. Next level is like 1/3 of your friends should be the same level as you. Buddies you kick it with, hang out with, shoot the shit with. There's no like levels, okay, to this. The last part, last third of friends should be people that you aspire to be around. Your aspirational contact list, I call it. And that's people that you want to learn something from, people you want to have as mentors. Mentors are key. Mentors are king. You can't do it without mentors. They like you for who you are, but you learn something from them. That's super important. Okay? So this is the list of simp behaviors. If you have these in your life, just take a little mental note right now. Just look at this list right now. Do it right now. Look at the list and see which one of these stand out to you. Because if you're in this room, you got 2 or 3, guaranteed. You got 2 or 3 of these. So notice which ones are standing out to you in your life. Which ones here you kind of feel are true in the pit of your stomach, but you don't want to admit that. All right, let's talk. What is going on? Let's do the mic passing thing. Pass the mic around a little bit. We'll see what's going on in your life, guys. What's your life going to look like if you don't get this solved? Let's hear some people that have like situations that were on the screen that I just pointed out. What's your life going to look like if you don't get this solved? You got the brother in the amazing Hawaiian shirt over there, far left. Mic is better. Oh yeah.
So,
do you live in Miami?
Edward.
You what?
Edward Miranda? Edward.
No, where do you live?
Oh, I know my name. In Los Angeles.
Oh yeah, that's definitely a place you can blow a lot of cash.
Very good.
Captain Save a blank. Yeah.
But yeah, so that's like my main problem because I'm investing into a lot of people because I have a financial firm. So it's like credit repair, business funding, all that stuff. So I'm always like wanting to teach people stuff, but a lot of them are just fucking stupid.
Mm-hmm.
And they just don't really like, it doesn't click in their head, and I'm just like wasting my damn time on teaching them stuff that they don't fully understand. So that's one of my main problems. I definitely gotta fix. And obviously physically, that's why I have this Hawaiian shirt so I can cover my amazing fat. I still get laid though.
Stick to the stick. I'm happy to hear that, but focus in, man. Focus in. Back on track.
But yeah, so that's definitely one of the main ones. Obviously, physical discipline, and then excuses. Yeah, that's about it.
Okay. Yeah. So what's your life gonna look like in 2 years if you don't get this Captain Save a blank problem solved?
Investing a lot more in
Okay. A lot more mentors.
Yeah.
Have you invested in the mentors yet?
Just about 2 for now.
Okay. Have you invested in an anti-Captain Save a blank mentor?
Yeah.
Okay, so you should do that, by the way. All right, change your mentalities. You should do that. So here's the thing. I'm gonna bless you with a principle right now. Okay. The principle I usually talk about in my bootcamp programs is something called selfish interest. So everybody acts through selfish interest. The people that you're meeting that are taking advantage of you, I wouldn't even be mad at them because they're acting through their selfish interest of getting resources from you. Now you're also getting something from that exchange as well. What do you think you're getting from it?
Honestly, just word of mouth referrals and money.
Okay. So, wait, is this with women or dudes?
Both.
Okay. So you're getting something from it too. What you got to do is just change the way you operate so that your interests are met a little bit better than the arrangement. Because everybody acts through their own selfish interest. You can't change that, right? We're here in Miami. Girl wants to go on a boat, she's gonna go on a boat. Girl wants to do something off of the body part of a DJ, she's gonna do it. But you're also here for your selfish interest. Every single one of you here has a selfish interest. When that's why you're here, or else you wouldn't show up and invest in a plane ticket and a hotel and a ticket to be here. So it's a matter of like your selfish interest aligning. You gotta find people that have the same interest as you, because everybody's trying to win in their own way. And the great part about that is it helps you to judge people less, and also helps you to not be so resentful. Because I bet there's like 10% of you that's a little bit resentful about it, and it holds you back, makes you not happy. Got you. Okay, cool. Thank you for sharing that, man. Give him a round of applause. Next person. Next person. What's your life going to look like if you don't get this solved? You continue with the behaviors that has simp tendencies we talked about a little earlier. Hands up. All right, we got some dudes over here, two over here, one in the front.
Alright, so my name is Drew, and I'm an artist. I have recently I found some opportunities through posting through my art and subreddits to basically get in contact with the president of Milk. And
With milk or MILF?
No,
Okay.
It's like they're a prank channel basically, but like over glorified and fucking awesome. Like we got like 6.3 billion followers on YouTube, and I need to set better boundaries basically because my friend was trying to help me bring in these app developers, and I kind of let them walk over me a bit, and they had to read like a line for talking to John, who was the president of Milk, or who is the president of Milk. And I felt bad about it the whole time. It didn't resonate with me. And I don't know why I didn't do it. I'm mad at myself for letting them walk over me.
Gotcha, cool. So boundaries and all that stuff. So what's gonna happen if you don't get this solved? Obviously, missed business opportunities. And what else?
It'll probably transfer into, the thing, if I'm letting it happen in business, it's probably happening in other areas of my life, the way you do everything.
Right. Gotcha. Do you do any stock market stuff?
I'm getting into it a little bit.
Okay. I want to give you an idea here, okay? It's something I've been learning about the stock market a lot in the last year. My portfolio has gone up a lot, a couple 100%, but I lost a lot in the first few months. And the reason I lost a lot is because I didn't understand something. I made some small mistakes. Anybody know what a stop loss is? You guys know what that is? Dope. Okay. So to those who don't know, a stop loss is like you do a trade and you say like how much you're willing to take as profit and how low you're willing to go before you're out. So in your life, my brother, you got to have stop losses in your life. Where do you say to yourself, this is the expectation I'm expecting, best case scenario, and worst case scenario, what am I out?
So I need to be specific about this.
Oh yeah, because it'll go on forever. Stop, if you don't have it, if you don't know exactly where that boundary is, that bottom floor stop loss is, you're gonna be like, well, it's not so bad. It goes on a little more. I'll give a little more money. Well, I'll stick around. Well, I've invested so much already. I'm already here. And then you're just like, meh, 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 meh.
Do I just not care enough about myself to, I guess, does this just come from being a nice person?
Yeah, if you're saying it, then it's probably right. I'm a certified therapist, by the way, a cognitive behavioral therapist, and and you never give the client the answer. But if you're saying it and you're questioning it, then there's probably some truth to it. If it feels true to you, you probably have an undervalued self. You don't value yourself as much. You doubt yourself a little too much. So when you get in a bad situation, people can take advantage of you, and you got to put some stop losses in there in advance. Okay?
It's just hard to discern because, the idea with the app developers, it could have been it could have had a lot more money from it, but I guess it's just trust.
There's for everything, there's an opportunity and cost. The opportunity is, I can make $1 million with this business. What's the cost to that if it goes bad? What's the loss to that? I think about relationships as purely economical. I'm like the inner game guy, but I think about stuff very economical. What's the stop loss? So we stop our losses here. What's the opportunity that we can get here out of this? How much is this going to cost us if we fail? How much will this cost us if we succeed? Start thinking about it in that term, because that will remove your emotions from the situation, and you'll think about it very rationally. Gotcha? Cool. All right, let's keep it moving. So some of the false beliefs you might have are, I gotta be born with good conversation skills. No, you don't. You can learn this stuff. Anybody can learn it. Anybody can learn this stuff. Like I was not born with this. I was the most unnatural of all the unnaturals, okay? I was the only guy that didn't do a boot camp. It took me like 11 years to learn this stuff because I was an idiot. But anybody can learn this. You can at least have a breakdown to get past where you are, or you can have a breakthrough. Next false belief that might be holding you back. I can't read social cues. Social cues are things you can read. You can learn them. Whether you're autistic or you have Asperger's, I work with all kinds of people that don't understand how to relate to another person in front of them. They can't read the person. They can't adjust in real time. You can learn this. It's a skill like anything else. I guess you're super rusty because you've been not practicing that much, but you can learn social skills. So don't let that be something that holds you back. You might think, I'm the only one struggling with this. Wrong. Tons of people are struggling with this. Millions and millions. I think right now there's like so many frustrated people socially. It's unbelievable. I think this is the great like repression socially of our generation. There's never a time in history where people have been indoors for so long and they lost all their social momentum. They lost their skills. They're totally rough. And I think that if you focus on this right now, you have an opportunity to come out and be better than anybody else. Everybody else is home, not doing much, not working on it, going downhill. But if you work on it, you have the opportunity to get the unfair advantage, we call it, and come out on top, come out a little bit better, because at least you're working on this stuff, okay? Now, I guarantee you that you're rusty, but you gotta do something about it. You cannot not take action. Inactivity is not a choice here. Next one. Oh, I can't get good quickly at this. It's another false belief you have. I know this guy named Sam. I don't know if you guys remember Sam. He was the old instructor we had. Sam got from like beginner to like instructor level results in 6 months. 6 months. Okay? Now I know people that are probably in this room, they're like, I've been watching the videos for 5 years. Do you go out? Well, not really. I know that because they see me in the street all the time. Hey man, why weren't you at free tour? Oh, well, you know. Okay? But Sam got to instructor level in 6 months. He was just dedicated, like I talked about. He was disciplined, right? He developed more discipline. He went out in the morning. He went out in the evening. He did it for 6 months. He got really, really good. He said he went out 14 hours a day, he would call it, right? But he would sleep. And for 6 months, you can get good really, really fast if you just have the right tools in place. You also might think, oh, I'm an introvert, so I can't fake it to be an extrovert. I'm really curious, out of the audience here, everybody that's here, who thinks that I am an extrovert? Show of hands. About half the audience, a little more than half. Okay, I'm actually an introvert. I'm a huge introvert. There's nothing sexier than me than getting like a charcuterie board, going home with a bottle of wine and a cigar, and turning on some like Marvel shit. Okay? That's sexy to me. I'm like, yeah, nobody's around. Silence. When I go to the club, I have to actually rest after and like unwind. I'm a huge introvert. But you can learn the social skills to be an extrovert. You can learn it. It's a skill like anything else. You can learn that skill. You don't have to be stuck in the belief that I can't learn it. Everybody can learn it. It's a learnable skill. You might think also, oh, I'm an accountant, I'm an engineer. I have a nerdy job that keeps me at my desk all day and socially awkward. Dude, listen, everybody's working from home now. It's gonna be everybody. So get with the times, just get over it, right? If you're an accountant, if you're an HR, if you're whatever you are, you're gonna be like working at home right now. And so you gotta design your life in a way that allows you to get outside and socialize with people, even though you're not good at it. You gotta learn to be an extrovert. You gotta practice being an extrovert, okay? You gotta learn those tools. You don't gotta be extrovert 24 hours a day, but you gotta learn it. You gotta learn the ability to do that. Okay, so how it all changed for me, this is my background a little bit. So when I was, dude, I don't know how old this is like in my 20s. The first experience, I was like a huge introvert, by the way, huge introvert. And it all changed for me when I started learning like national account sales. I started working like in computer sales as a national account manager for computers. I was selling stuff to THX, which was like the George Lucas company, right? Lucasfilms. I actually helped them create the first prequel with, not happy to say it, with Jar Jar Binks. Sorry, but I helped them with the technology on that, okay? And when I was in the process, I learned sales. I learned how to just explain myself. I learned how to get out there and create opportunities. I learned a lot from that experience. Okay, so that was the first thing that changed for me. Other thing that changed for me was I went to music and fashion. So one of the things I did is I started to work with as a music producer, I started to work with different artists. I got in like this beat battle with Kanye West. Kanye West became Kanye West. I became here. Okay. So everybody's doing their thing, but got into music, used to do music production, had a radio show. I would just travel around just doing music for everybody. I also got into fashion. Part of my background is in fashion, right? So what I would do is I discovered that models need music to. So I started working with like Montreal Fashion Week, New York Fashion Week. I started doing marketing for different high-end haute couture, they call it, fashion brands. And then I started to like be backstage with the models, and I'd be hanging out with them. I got to know this person. That's kind of like where my social skills of models developed, was hanging out backstage at all these model shows, okay? And like finding out what makes them tick, learning about the model houses, learning about what holds them back, the beliefs that they have. Okay, and I got a really good experience in that. And it kind of got me also into the stylizing world as well. Whenever I do a bootcamp program too, I bring guys out to dress, and I don't want them to look like me, but I want them to find their own fashion and clothes that fit them well and tailor to their bodies. And then also blackjack. So this is kind of funny. I actually never shared this, but my IQ is pretty high. I think it's like 145. I think I'm like 2% less than genius. Okay. So I sucked at school. It was like one of these weird things where I grew up in Quebec, and I just couldn't stand school. I thought the teachers were dumb. They didn't understand me. This is back before like they understood like hyperactivity or whatever. So I would take the knowledge I had, I'd go to the library, I'd read books on counting cards, and then I'd like go and like count cards at the casino and learn blackjack. And like count cards like this 18-year-old kid. I'd sneak in. Yeah. My shirt. Okay, I'll just put on the jacket here. Cool. So I'd go to the casino, learn how to count cards, blackjack, all that stuff. And that taught me what? What did I learn from that? Game. I learned discipline, first of all. I learned discipline. I learned something is hard. You learn how to get yourself through it. I learned I learned having a future projection of where I want to go. I learned finding my skills and my passions, my talents, and what I'm good at. So for each one of these areas, I learned something. By the way, guys, the screen is off. Why is the screen off, guys? PowerPoint, you guys got to fix that. PowerPoint. So I learned something from each one of those skills. I learned how to be a better person. I learned how to improve myself. I learned how to focus on the skills that would eventually get me to where I want to go and who I want to be. Next thing. Oh, it's frozen. It's frozen. Any questions on what I just said? Okay. Any questions on that? Cool. So now we're going to map out what a high-value person looks like to you. What is a high-value guy to you? What does it mean to be high-value in your eyes? So a high-value person in your own right. So for me, look. In terms of dating, my goal was I wanted to be able to go out into a club any night of the week and meet the most awesome, high-quality person in the club and be able to possibly leave the club with that person that night and have a great adventure. And that was my goal. That was high value to me. That was like, could I do that? If I could do it, I could be the best in the world at that. And definitely, I would say from 2000 and when clubs were open, 2015, 2018, absolute best in the world at that. No one could top me at that. But high value might be different to you. What is high value to you? You might be at the age now, I'm at the age where I'm approaching 40 soon. And high value to me is, you know what? I've been an international fun guy. Maybe I want to get married, like proper married, not like married in Canada where 50% of my shit doesn't go away, okay? married, like not courthouse married. I don't know how you do it, but maybe I want to do that. Maybe I want to have the house and the 2.5 kids and the picket fence, right? So like you got to think about what is your definition of what high value is to you. Maybe you want to be the person with a few options. Maybe you want to be a little polyamorous. We can talk about that. Whatever you want. What makes you happy? But the most, he's like, yeah, we can talk about that. Whatever it is, though, you got to find out what is the family dynamic that you want that is high value to you. Because it's going to be different to you than it is to any other person. It's going to be very, very different. And you should never, ever copy what you think it should be. That's a huge mistake. Copying what you think it should be. If you're just starting out, some of you guys are like, well, I just want to have like 50 relationships. That'd be great to have like 50 relationships, okay? And that's what you're thinking is high value to you. Because you're thinking it's the thing that's going to grant you happiness. Everybody I know that's done that eventually finds themselves empty and shallow and unhappy. So if your actual goal is you want to have a family, shit, go ahead and do that. As long as you're not like 21, okay? Because you still need some experience to know what you like and what you don't like, okay? But go out and have some experiences. Life is like Baskin Robbins. You got to try all the flavors to know which ones you don't like. The flavors of life is what I'm talking about, okay? So you got to figure out what is high value to you in terms of relationships. And it's going to change. Be flexible with it. Right now, might be just experimenting. Then eventually, it comes to maybe settling up, okay? I don't say settling down. I want to say settling up. That's where it is for me right now. Next one. A woman who yields to his protection. This is going to be controversial. Well, let's get into this. Okay. When I say yield, I don't mean that in a negative way. I mean somebody who's willing to cooperate with you and collaborate with you. I'll say it again. Very clearly. Cooperate and collaborate. What are those two words, guys? Cooperate and collaborate. Okay? That's what you're looking for, ultimately. Right? As a guy, your natural tendency, if you're on your shit, is to go out, kill it, slay the dragons, bring home the chunk of meat. You just want to do it. Because if you don't do it, you feel kind of useless. You kind of want to do it anyway. It's like guys go fishing just because they want to catch something. You know what I mean? Like they do it for themselves with their buddies. It just feels good to do that. It feels good to have a business and to achieve something, to be your own boss, to be independent. That's just a part of you. You know what I mean? When the washing machine breaks in your house, you're tempted to just look at it and fix it. Even though you don't know what you're fucking doing, you're just like, I want to fix this, right? Natural tendency of guys. But unfortunately, what's happened in society is that lately as a guy, you're encouraged to not do that, right? So your goal of finding a high value partner to go along with you as a high value person is somebody who can yield to that position and support you. And you support them in that and whatever they need in their life, right? It's a win-win scenario. It's a win-win scenario. And also, here's the thing. If you take the lead of a household or you take the lead in a relationship, I want to be very, very, very clear to you, okay? That doesn't mean you get like 3 wives. That's not what it means. You're like, yeah. It's not what it means. It means if you're taking the lead, guys, you have the responsibility to provide and protect. There's a responsibility with that. Like I say in Spider-Man, with great responsibility comes great power, right? You have a responsibility for that. So if you want the best person that's out there, you have a responsibility to that person. You go out tonight to live or whatever, and you meet somebody who's just amazing, well, she wants something amazing back in return, and you have a responsibility to upkeep that. It's not just all upsides, like you have a job to do. And that's how that partnership works. It's got to be a give and a take. And there's got to be something in it for both people. As beautiful as that person might be on the outside physically, as beautiful as they might be on the inside spiritually, you got to provide something of equal value. You don't just get away with robbing the bank. You got to provide something of equal value. You got to bring something else to the table. Whether it's protection, whether it's resources, whether it's accountability, it could be loyalty, it could be abs if you have them. We're not going for that, right? It could be your determination, your focus, your support, your desire to be a good father or a good husband, whatever it is, you just got to still bring something to the table here. That's what's important. All right? Went a little deep there on that one. What's the next one on the list we got? Yeah, so stability. I feel like everybody wants stability in their life. I feel like as you develop as a man or as a person in general, as your life goes on, you desire more stability. In your early 20s or your mid-20s, your late 20s, you're like, I just want to have fun. I just want to party. I just want to have a great time. Cool. But then as you get older, you say, I want some stability. I want that to be reliable. Because there's plenty of people here that can make a lot of like impact and then they lose it. Think of like the basketball player, right? Or the NFL guy, NHL guy. 25 to 30, top of his career. Guess what? Gets an injury when he's 30, and then he has no money coming in for the rest of his life. His sponsorships are gone. And so he was a top shit basketball player, and then after 30 plus, his life goes downhill. Or think of all, like, not all, okay? But think of people right now, like, what's really popular? OnlyFans. Great. OnlyFans is an amazing opportunity to make cash right now. But guess what? That lasts until as long as you're beautiful. So if you do OnlyFans, you got about a 5 to 7 year shelf life, if even that much. And also, OnlyFans have only been around in its current state. It's called current state for like 10 months. So it's not a proven business plan, long term. You see what I'm saying? So if you're killing it right now, what you're actually going to desire as a high value person is stability. Stability for yourself, stability for people around you, stability for the man or woman you invite in your life, all those levels of stability. Stability is sexy to me. That's what turns me on. I'm like, oh, how long have you been at that job? Yeah. How long have you not been a bottle service person? Yeah. Turns me on, right? Because I want that. When somebody has stability, it also means that they can support me in my goals, and I can support them in their goals. That make sense to you guys? Yes. If it doesn't make sense, let me know. Anything I'm saying, you're like, I don't know, put your hand up. We'll battle on it. We'll rap battle, okay? What's the next one? Shout it out. Confrontation and chaos. I learned that you can't be a high value person if you avoid confrontation. It's just impossible. Confrontation is everywhere. And I feel like in our day and age, we've like missed confrontation. Like back in the day, you would go out like with this, when you were like 14, 16 years old, and you go out with a spear and you'd hunt a wild boar and you may or may not come back. If you're American, most of you guys in the room probably are, I'm Canadian. If you're American, you were 18, you were enlisted into the war. I'm not saying that's a great thing. I think a lot of people had generational trauma from that. I'm not saying it's a great thing. But if you went into the war, at least you're aware of what confrontation is. Your biggest confrontation of your generation might have been you had to stay home and watch Netflix for a year. That makes you soft, right? It makes you soft. You might feel a little soft. You might even be afraid to do approaches. Anybody felt like a little afraid to do approaches? I'm not gonna shit on you, by the way. I'm a little rusty too right now. Yeah, so we get like 15 hands up. People a little afraid to do approaches. The hands are going up even more, right? It's like you've been kind of just chilling for a year, and now you gotta go and do approaches, and you're like, how do I meet people now? Like, it feels so weird to meet people. Like, you know, like, I'll be perfectly honest. I came in this room, and there was 200 guys, and I was like, oh man, a crowd. I was like, oh shit, a crowd. And then all you guys took off your mask, and I hadn't seen the bottom half of a person's face in a few months. And I was like, oh damn, mouse. Simple as that, mouse. And that kind of freaked me out. And I was like, okay, all right, so if that's the case, let me get used to confrontation. Let me get used to this stimulation. And as a person, it's high value. If you stay away from stimulation too long, you don't go around it. If you don't go around it often enough, you get soft, you get weak, you get rusty. High value people throw themselves into the chaos and the stimulation. Okay? They also have independent thinking. You gotta be an independent thinker. You gotta think for yourself. Okay? Pop quiz. Who is the best dating coach teacher?
Madison.
Why?
Because.
That's not independent thinking. I can't even accept that answer because you didn't think about it independently. Who's the best?
The field.
The field. How long have you been in the field? Somebody said the field. How long have you been in the field?
Not long enough.
All right, so you don't have enough information or data points and resources to compile that information and that fully thought process. All right, who else is the best? Tony Robbins doesn't go in the field. Who's the best dating coach in the world? I didn't hear that one. Why? Because somebody told you? Right? You see my point here? We're making assumptions not based on things we've tested or we've gathered data points and information ourselves independently to make a decision. People who are high-value people don't rely on the words of others. They go out and they test it themselves. They do the research. They gather the data points to make the decision themselves. Does that make sense? This is not just by the way, what I'm saying here, this high-value stuff, is not just like only for dating. This is like about what bleeds into your personality and bleeds into your dating life. It all goes together. It bleeds into everything. So if you're an independent thinker and you go out, you try to find situations, you research them yourself, and you do your own analysis, you look at all the data points, you compare, and you assume the opposite of what also might be true. That's a big one. What also might be true? Try to prove the counter. Right? Okay, let's assume Madison's the best in the world. Okay, cool. What's the opposite that could be true? He's the worst in the world. How do we know he's not the worst in the world? He put up examples of it every single week for 5 years. What do people say about him? What can he show me personally? If I go and I ask him personal information, what do I learn? Not just what people say. What do I learn personally? Right? You're actually being an independent thinker now. If you got into Bitcoin early, you were an independent thinker. If you got into Airbnb or Uber early, you were an independent thinker. There was a stock called Coinbase that had an IPO today. I missed it because I was busy working on this stuff. I'm sure the Coinbase IPO will go up to like 1,000 within the next month or so. Independent thinking. Did you get into Bitcoin early or not? I don't know. Did you get into Airbnbs early or not? I don't know. Guys that discover the dating community stuff, they get into it early because they're like, oh shit, this is cool. I can do things differently. I can hack the system. So anybody who's successful, who's an innovator, who's first to market, first to ideas, first to changing their life, is an independent thinker. For example, for years and years and years, they said, listen, 4 food groups. You gotta eat bread, you gotta eat grain, you gotta eat milk, vegetables, and blah, blah, blah. You don't even gotta eat that much grain, to be honest. Grain actually just gets you fat because it's all carbs usually. Like one thing in granola is like 400 calories. Like I think like a cup of granola is like almost like 400 calories. It's like 20% of your food for the day, depending on what your budget is, your diet is, or whatever, right? I'm just making bad math here. You see what I'm saying? They say things are good that weren't necessarily good. Is milk that necessarily good for you? I don't know. It's cow juice. Like, what is milk? Like, really, milk is pregnant cow juice. Let's really think about that for a second. Pregnant cow juice. Let's call it for what it is. What are eggs? Unfertilized chicken babies. If they called it what it really is, you want to eat it, right? Filet mignon. Cow ass, or like cow side, right? Fortunately, baby oil isn't actually made from babies, right? But the point is independent thinking. The more you can tap into independent thinking, the better you will see results in your social life, better you'll see results in your dating life, the better you'll be able to advance as a high-value person. What's the next one here we have? Resilience. Ability to just bounce back. You're resilient. Ability just to bounce back. It's pretty self-explanatory. The better you can bounce back. It's super important for learning this stuff, by the way, when I call the dating stuff. Just post up here for a second, this guy's place. It's super important for the dating stuff. Resilience. Learning dating skills is hard enough as it is, man. It's so challenging. You go out, you get rejected for a week, you feel like you learned nothing. Why would you go and do it again? A lot of people give up. The best people that I've ever seen at dating skill stuff are people that have resilience to get back and learn. The people who are not hard on themselves. If you're hard on yourself when it comes to this, you will not get it because you're not going to be there for the marathon. The people who make it through the marathon get better. That's what it comes down to. So resilience is like the key. It's not skill level or natural talent. Bro, I had none of those. I was like an introverted, like Steve Urkel looking nerd guy. Okay, I didn't have any of those. But I had resilience. I said I'm gonna use independent thinking and figure this out one way or another, and I'm gonna play the long game. And when you have that resilience, what ends up happening is you have a reason to come back. You have a reason to get better and learn to get better and better as time goes on, right? Resilience is the key. Resilience is what's important here, because it's not about how good you are, it's if you can incorporate that into your behaviors. And then we got, what was it, last one on the list? More energy, better focus. It's what we all want. It's the rapid list of things that high value people want. We all want more energy and we all want better focus. If we have more energy, we had better focus, what would your life look like? Also think about what is sucking energy out of your life. The toxic people that tell you that you can't do it, that hold you back. The toxic people that, make it feel like it's not possible. The self-talk that you have in your own mind that also holds you back. By the way, I like watching homeless people in Miami. They're the best. Oh my gosh, they're so the best. There was this homeless guy walking around the other day. Oh my God, last night, out by the Wells Fargo. And he's walking around like this. He's like, it's because you're black, and if you're black, you shouldn't be a bisexual, and it's just wrong. And you know what? It's wrong. That's what the church told you when you were back in the church. And everybody's scared of this guy, and I'm just like, wow. I was amazed. I was so amazed, just watching this guy in awe. This guy's having a conversation with himself out loud that most of you probably have in private. All right? That's the self-talk. That's what I love watching people that are crazy. What's crazy about them? They're having self-talk. Their inner thoughts are out in public. That's what I love seeing. So for you, you might be, as it says there, your own worst enemy. You might have low energy because you're toxic to yourself in some ways. Not just the people around you, but you're toxic to yourself because you're talking badly to yourself all day. We call that in psychotherapy, okay, which is what I teach, we call it an automatic negative thought or self-talk, okay? It's automatic negative thoughts that are going around in your mind all day long, and they're kind of like the hum of the lights in this room or the air condition that you don't hear until I'm quiet. If everybody's quiet for a second, it's you hear that fan, right? You hear that fan, and that's what you have. Negative thoughts, background in your mind. I'm not good enough, I'm not smart enough, I'm not cool enough, I don't know how to do this, da-da-da-da. It's going on and on and on. So this is what you gotta be aware of. This is what you gotta be aware of all the time. These are the traits you want to incorporate. Let's talk about how. Let's give you an opportunity how. So, what could a quality for life look like, guys, if you got some of these things incorporated? For the things that I just told you, this list that I just told you, we'll do the mic passing around again, okay? And if you get the mic, just stand up and talk clearly. What is the vision for your life if you get some of this stuff handled? What are your big goals? Let's go back again. You have a big family goal. Do you want to change that? Do you want to change your stability in your life? Do you want to be better with handling confrontation? Do you want to be more of an independent thinker? Do you find that you have no resilience to bounce back? Would you like more energy? Huh? What are some of the goals of your life? What would your life look like? What are some goals you guys have? Let me know about it. Put your hands up.
200 pounds muscle.
Yeah.
Yo, my name is John. So the question was, what are some goals again?
Yeah. What would your life look like if you got some of this stuff handled?
Oh, man. So, the last 5 months, in November of last year, I started purposely going out every day to talk to people, and to get better at talking to people, and to get better at accepting rejection, and, be able to purposely put myself in high-pressure situations where people look at me like a fool. But I don't run away. I stay, because I want to purposely rewire my brain so that I don't need to think about that anymore. Because in the industry that I'm in, where I do business, I'm struggling a lot. Because my brother, it's not So, in the industry that I'm in, I'm struggling a lot. And the main reason is because I lack, according to me, I lack some people skills. According to a lot of people that meet me and have conversations with me, they say, oh, you're so charismatic, you're so strong and all this stuff. And I understand that because I know that I can lead. But I know that there's still some things that I need to work on to get myself to where I want to go. I envision myself on the stage in my industry because it's in the personal development industry as well. And I want to be a teacher, but teach thousands of people all over the world how to live a better life.
Let's focus in here. Let's dial it in. What is holding you back? What do you think is the thing that is holding you back? You want to be charismatic, you want to help people, you want to teach people.
Yeah.
Okay.
So in my industry, the main thing that I need to do is make a list of people. It's network marketing. It's going to be straightforward. It's network marketing. I made a list of people, 444 people. Every single person told me no. The goal, my job, is to make friends so that they can trust me enough so that I can show them what it is that I do so that they can decide to support them or not. And I made a list of people, 444 people. Every single person told me no, every single one. Well, really, half actually picked up the phone. The other half just ignored me. So now I have no choice but to go back out into the physical marketplace and make more friends. You know, to meet new people. I don't have an option. I have to do it. I have to make it happen.
Yeah. How old are you, by the way?
I'm 22.
Okay. And this is the thing with younger guys. It's like a common thread. Where did you get your skills to meet people? Did you take any formal training, or did you like get a course, or what did you do?
Oh man, I've known about RSD, Owen, and other people in the personal development industry for years.
Okay.
Back when I was 14, I used to be super shy.
Right. Have you ever had anybody analyze what you're doing and break it down?
Anybody analyze it? No.
Okay, so here's what's happening. I think you wasted your time. I think the 400 people was like good because you learned. You probably burned the list a little bit. You burned the 400 people that were great contacts, but you never asked for help. That was your biggest mistake. You didn't ask for help to anybody say, hey, look at my stuff. Like we have sales guys, and our sales guys are our customer support guys. We like review their calls, we look at them, we analyze how can they do better. I think I don't know if it was ego or what. Maybe you were ashamed to have somebody review it, but you had to get a mentor on that. You had to get a proper mentorship on that for the communication, because otherwise you're just spinning your heels and you feel like you're doing a lot of work, but you're not actually progressing.
Can I be honest? So you're 100% right. Like I'm glad everybody told me no, because I learned a valuable lesson for years. People kept telling me, Jonathan, just focus on making friendships, strengthen the quality of those friendships. But I was like, I want to focus on the numbers, and I did. Everybody told me no, and then I meet some of the top earners, not just in my company, but in the industry, and they all build friendships and they strengthen the quality of those relationships. Their list is way smaller, but the ratio of people that they actually work with is so much bigger because they do exactly what you said. They strengthen the quality of those friendships. So that's why I'm here. Because I know where I want to go, but there's like a bit of a wall that's keeping me from getting there.
What is the wall? Let's be very clear. It was a great story, bro. Cool story, bro. But what's the wall? Let's like really narrow it down. Because I feel like you talked a lot, but you haven't said very much.
The wall?
What is the wall that is stopping you? What is holding you back?
I want to learn how to make friends.
Okay. I think the problem is learning how to get proper mentors, not just friends. If you get proper mentors, they can shorten your learning curve. I think that's what it is. And you have to be able to drop the ego to say, I need help. All right, next person. Thank you for sharing that, by the way. We'll do one more. It's the last one we'll do. And then I'll go into some big stuff here.
What's up, everybody? I'm Nova. I feel like I can relate to the gentleman over here. I'm an app developer, and I've also been working on some music that I love and everything like that. And I think that the main thing is that I'm a creator. So as a creator, your responsibility is willing an idea from the imagination realm into being. So when you do that in a lot of different realms, you begin to become extremely self-reliant. And from there, reaching out to other people is almost like, well, you don't want to really reach out to other people. So I think that part of the area of growth for myself is really kind of just learning how to reach out more to other people, like in a casual way, like where my ego isn't on the line or anything like that.
Okay. So communication skills and like befriending people and having people respect you for it. Are you doing that now? Are you trying to do that?
Yeah.
What's the result you get?
Definitely. No, I feel like people really mess with the type of energy that I bring forth. I think that it's primarily more so in the business element, in the business space.
Right.
Like I'm really proud of an application that I built. It's called Madison. And Madison was actually created to turn encounters into relationships, because like my whole life, I've always been about turning encounters into something that's more real. I feel like nowadays in society, just really so transient. So that's what WAS is all about. It's available in both the
Okay, before you give us your Android store pitch and your Google pitch, what is the thing you're trying to do? Let's be clear about that. The story is you got this thing, trying to meet high value people. What is the thing you're trying to do? Like, what is it what's missing?
What's missing is relationships, certain relationships.
Okay. Identifying high value contacts, networking with them, having them respect you and see you as one of their peers. A lot of people that try to go for high value people, like to meet them, they often approach them as like a friend or someone who wants something rather than one of their peers. You're gonna need them to like you, respect you, and also want to throw you opportunities. Okay, so that's missing. Pay attention to that. Okay, thank you very much, by the way. All right. So, high value momentum, yeah, I got it in my life. It was really cool. I realized that high value stuff is momentum. It travels throughout your life. Once you start doing it, you focus on it, it bleeds into other areas of your life. You can't go for low value momentum. If you do low value momentum, then it never comes back, right? You gotta choose one or the other. High value momentum is essentially learning how to say no to things that don't get you to where you want. Learning how to say no to particular dates, learning how to say no to certain jobs, learning how to say no to not getting drunk with your buddies on Sunday night so you can't get up and hustle. Or if you are gonna go out with them, learning how to leave early so you can go back and hustle on your whatever you're working on your building. That's what high value momentum is, okay? And once you do it, it starts to build a snowball effect in your life where it starts to build and build. 1 week it's like this much, next week's a little more, a little more, a little more, a little more, and it builds and builds and builds, okay? That's the point, so you gotta focus on that. Now, the people who get it, I'm not gonna go into this in detail, but there's a whole bunch of things that they do, the people who get it. There's things that they do and they act, certain principles that they act through, that they identify in their life that helps them to get it and changes their lifestyle, all right? So, we'll skip this. What I came to the realization was my poor results were my fault. They were nobody else's fault. They were completely my fault. All the rejections that I had, everything where I was unsatisfied was my fault. I had to do something about it. I had to take personal responsibility. So everybody in this room, if you don't like where you are socially, romantically, health-wise, discipline-wise, resilience-wise, if you don't like where you are, it's your fault. You cannot blame it on outside situations and be the victim. It's you. You. The quicker you take that personal responsibility, the faster you can get to improving it, all right? And then you gotta ask yourself too, are you the character of your own life or a supporting person in your life? What are you gonna be? You gotta ask yourself, if you told your life to a friend or a stranger, would they wanna be you? If you told your life to a stranger, would they wanna be you? If the answer is no, then you're doing something wrong. That means you have room for growth and you have room for improvement. Do you wanna be you? That's a big one. What coping mechanisms are you having to tell yourself to just stay afloat? Is it as bad as you realize? And the other realization I had, keeping it real, completely real. If I knew what to do to fix my life, I would have probably been doing it already. So if you knew what to do to change your circumstances, you probably would have done it already. The truth is, you don't know what to do. You think you do, but you've been doing it wrong. You're probably wasting a lot of time when you're doing that by doing it wrong. Because if you knew the right stuff to do, you would do it. Either you haven't tried everything, or it's just gonna take you forever to figure it out. That's the other part, right? Like, yeah, you can learn this stuff by figuring it out yourself. It's gonna take you 10 years, but it's gonna be hard, and you're gonna end up wasting a lot of time. Quick funny story, not a funny story, amazing story actually. This guy is a student of mine, his name was John, okay? I won't say his last name, he was a blogger. And he was in one of my programs. You can see John had no excuse. John was literally in a wheelchair. He has a device that helps him speak. He has his nurse message me when he wants to talk to me. And John was having a pretty serious issue. And as you can see, he took some coaching from me. And one of the things he goes, well, I filled in the blank with a porn star last night. Interesting experience. Amazing skill. I could tell she was performing or actually focusing on me. But he's like mechanical perfection. So John had no excuses, right? You gotta think, I work with dudes that have wheelchair problems, guys that have walking problems, guys that have one testicle, guys that have had bankruptcy, guys that have had divorces, guys that have had any kind of issue you can imagine is somebody that I've worked with. So when you see somebody like John and he's able to do it, what is your excuse, bro? What is your excuse? Your excuse doesn't matter, okay? I worked with another guy before on his online representation. This is his online profile before, okay? We did a program together. Super bad lighting on the pictures, bad clothing, bad angles, right? Took him out. We did a whole revision of his online personality, whole revision of his wardrobe, and now he's getting matches like the ladies that you see on the side. Has anybody in this room done a program with me? I can't see all the faces. Anybody done a program? Okay, brand new audience. Yeah, usually we have an international group. So guys that are usually international, I spend a lot of time in Europe, and I spend a lot of time in Asia. That's where a lot of the students that I have are. Some quick stories here. Quick little stories that stand out to me that are really cool. This one guy, first guy says, I had a broken leg on program. Just wanted to say thank you, dude. I was in a really shitty place. And he says, you helped me out big time by grounding me. And I'm increasingly being rewarded for pay increases and better opportunities, right? He found a way to put those stop losses in his life, be resilient, and get better opportunities because he has boundaries now. Another guy here he's like, I really realized that I put in way too much pressure on myself. And I also have certain things that happened to me in my past. Getting rid of that self-talk from the past, the trauma that we talked about, super important, right? Turning your life around. Dude, Kevin, he did an immersion program with me. And Kevin says, yeah, man, he's like, thank you, Madison, so much for all the hard work, for a couple of new ride or die homies and pushing me. A lot of the guys that I work with on programs, I end up being friends with them. It's not like we do a program and then I never see them again. It's like we do a program and I invite them out many, many months after. We're like hanging out, going to dinner and stuff, okay? And then the last one I have here, a dude says, yeah, man, I got the roadmap for becoming the man I want to be, which is always, always, always awesome to see. And I love seeing that. All right, so let's talk about investing into yourself. Let's give you guys, I'm going to present something to you right now. It's an opportunity for you to invest into yourself. I always want to present opportunities at Summit because we realize that you want to do that. So investing into yourself, you got to do it at some point sooner or later. I'm a smart dude in this area, let's say. You know, I've showed you some things. Everything I've thought about has been field tested around the world. 10,000 students plus face-to-face, 35 cities for about 6 years. I've been doing this for about a decade. I don't know everything, but I know this stuff, so I can teach you this stuff. And it's important that when you start investing into yourself, that you vote with your dollars to be a doer. You showed up like most people here, but vote with your dollars, vote with your investment. And this is what we call a paywall, by the way. What I found is that when people have information that is free, very often they don't apply it. Their brain just doesn't engage. They become lazy. It's like that flight or fight syndrome. Their brain doesn't engage to do it. So what you gotta do is find a way to get your brain to engage what you have. Otherwise, it doesn't do it. It's like public school. Public school is free, you don't go. But you go to university because you invested a lot of cash in university, and once you've invested that cash into it, now you go into it like you have skin in the game, they call it. You have something to lose. Another point here is you're gonna never feel 100% ready. Never gonna happen. But you just start taking action on feeling ready, okay? You just start taking action anyways. And everybody who invests into themselves, there's always what we call a ROI, a return on investment. Everybody who invests into themselves usually feels better about it once they've done it. You ask anybody that's done like a program or gotten a mentor, they say, yeah, I would do it again. The reason that they would do it again is because A, they put skin in the game, so they're committed. They're committed because they put skin in the game, right? That's the first thing. They've doubled down on themselves. That's the second thing. And there's a return back into it. So for example, I got a lot of mentors I mentioned a long time ago. I had mentors. I have 3 coaches that I use. I have a marketing coach that I pay $5,000 every quarter to. I have a personal trainer, and I have a mindset coach that I use for meditation. And when I have those 3 people, the return, I spend about $30K in coaches usually a year, but the return I get lets me know that I can amplify the success that I'm giving every single year, okay? So in that way, it's worth it. So here's what I'm gonna present to you guys, okay? An opportunity to talk about some of the things that we can do. If anything I said to you has caught your attention today, anything I said to you sounds good, it sounds like something that you need to work on, you wanna move forward on it, here's what we can do. I'm gonna present something just for the summit attendees today. The first one is gonna be the boot camp program. Anybody here ever done a boot camp? Let me just show of hands. Okay, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That's because a lot of people that haven't. Who here lives in Miami, by the way? Who here's a local Miami? About half the room. Dope. Miami locals. A lot of California as well. Hands up, California. Okay, about half and half. Nice. Okay, so this is one of the best cities in the world to do a boot camp. But a boot camp program is typically where I take you out for 3 days into the field, we call it, to bars, lounges, nightclubs, and I do 3 things. I demonstrate for you what's possible socially, and then I bring you up to my level. I get you to do it along with me, and then I release you into the wild so you can do it all on your own, okay? The components of it are online. That's what we do. We work on online, your social media, your photo strategy. We also do daytime, so you're able to connect people anywhere in the world during the day. Myself, personally, I hate going out at night. I'm a 30-something-year-old guy. I think I want to be running around the club like a chicken with my head cut off for the rest of my life. I'd rather get my sleep and invest my time into some project that I have. So daytime is super important. In the daytime, you're gonna meet people that allow you to have solid connections. Nighttime is great for practicing because there's many people in the room, but daytime is where your retention and your actual results will come from mostly. You can do everything right at night and get no results. Daytime is where it's at. I want you to build a social life like these guys are talking about. Social life, networking, meeting cool career people. That is your social life because it comes back and it feeds you back in many ways. I want you to work on your fashion because we said looks do matter. How you show what's up matters. I don't want you to show up in Gap clothes. I want to teach you to find things that fit you so you can show up the right way. And the last one, of course, nightlife. Being able to go hard in social pressure situations. The great thing about nightlife is it allows you to go hard when it matters. It allows you to go hard when it matters. By the way, Ibrahim, if Ibrahim is there, I'm gonna do the audio thing. I'm gonna do the audio right now. I'm gonna show you guys a clip in a second, a little video, just for fun. So the great thing about nightlife is it allows you to go hard in the social pressure. There's lights, there's people bumping you, there's a DJ, there's loud music, and that's kind of it's a lot of stimulation, but it makes you tough. It makes you, what's the word we're looking for? Starts with the R. Resilient, exactly, you guys got it, amazing. It makes you resilient. It makes you able to deal with, starts with the C, chaos, exactly. So that's why there's a benefit to nighttime stuff because it makes you resilient, able to deal with chaos, okay? All these things trickle into the high value behaviors that I was talking about before in eradicating simp behaviors in your life. All that is super important. So what I'm gonna do, actually, is show you guys a little video here. And the video I'm gonna show you is just kind of what happens on a program, what we do, what it looks like, just so you can see it, right? Seeing is like understanding. It's one thing if I tell you about it, but watching a video and seeing some cool stuff go down, that's amazing and that's where it's at. That's the most enjoyable thing, okay? So I'm gonna show that to you. By the way, any questions so far about what I've said? Any questions? No, that means I explained it tremendously. I made it well. I'm very happy to hear that. Okay. Ibrahim, we're good on the audio? Okay. And by the way, before I show you that, I also want to say something. I mentioned this before. This is legit my last year doing boot camp programs. I've enjoyed it. I think it's great, but it's the last year I'll be teaching the programs as they are. Okay? So what I've done is I had a whole bunch of students from 2020 that I could not fulfill, obviously, for obvious reasons, no fault of their own. I couldn't fulfill those programs in 2020. So what I did is slided it over to 2021, and I'm fulfilling all those programs now. So what there is about 2 to 3 spots on each city for those programs, which isn't a lot, but I'm fulfilling it right now, okay? So to anybody who's ever thought about it, You'll see what it looks like. I just want to give you the information so you can make your own educated decision, make your own independent thinking decision, and see if like it's something that interests you. So let's just pull it up here. Okay, you guys can see that? Is there audio?
Not here. Boy.
No audio. Ibrahim.
Daytime dates, having daytime date ice cream.
The headphones. That's the headphone jack. This appears to be on. Okay, cool. So before I do that, we'll get to that in a second. A little bit of a technical hiccup. So I'll talk about what else we're going to offer today. The last hurrah. This is like me ending it with like the biggest shebang possible, going out in like a flame of glory, okay? My plan is to rampage every single city and end it in a legendary way. I just want to retire this content in a beautiful way, leave like my legacy on like the world with this information. I gave you guys a sample of what I talk about usually in this presentation, but I want to like end in a beautiful, beautiful way, okay? So we are going to be doing Miami. So this is Miami right here, right now. We're going to be doing Miami starting tomorrow. That's one of the cool things. Tomorrow, Miami, we got a boot camp that's starting. And then we're hitting up the major cities. We're hitting up Austin because obviously Austin is open, right? Texas, yeehaw. We got New York. We got a couple other cities in there as well for America. I may add I think I may add Vegas if possible. We'll see if we add Vegas in there. We'll see. But if you're in one of these cities, I highly recommend you come out. This is like, just don't even think about it. Just do it. Don't even think about it. Just do it. Just come out to these cities. If you live close to one of these cities, what I recommend is that you fly into it. Like just fly in, man. Say when you flew into here. Fly in, meet a dude in your city, crash on his couch, right? Like I said, who here is from California? Like 20 guys, hands went up, okay? Like we'll introduce you to guys that are from that city. You can crash on their couch. Don't even pay for the hotel. Fly in, totally do it. It's worth it. And if you're in one of those cities or even close to one of these cities, all right? If you're in Canada, amazing. Come out to Canada, we'll do it there. I'm hitting up a few European cities as well. I'm hitting up Prague, Budapest, Amsterdam. As you can see, a little bit of London, the UK, they're open up as well. And then finally, last but not least, I'm going to be fix that somewhere. I'll email it to you, or you can just see it in person yourself, which is way better than that. All right, where are we at? Let's see. Those are the cities. All right, so preparing a special offer for you guys, only for the people that are here today in this room because you're dedicated and you want to take action. Here's the breakdown. The breakdown is going to be the conversation simulator, which is the unplug this. All right, so it's going to be, what is this? What's going on here? Okay, it's off. There we go. All right. So, yeah, so we're going to do the boot camp program. That is usually about a $4,000 value in total. 4,900 because it's my last tour. What I've done is because there's only some, I personally keep it to a 3-to-1 instructor ratio. So what that means is I don't fill it with like 50 people. I keep it really, really intimate. Why do you guys think I do that? Let's just be practical. Just do the math. Yeah. Mentoring. What's that? Mentoring. Yeah, mentoring. So let's say if I put 40 students on a boot camp program, okay, and there's like 3 nights, and it's like 5 hours a night, and you divide 40 by like 12, that you get like 30 minutes of time. So I don't do that. I lose money by doing that, but I care about the quality of the coaching, and I care about the results. Often I stay up to like 6, 7 in the morning just going overtime because I want you guys to get the results. So I keep it very intimate, 3-to-1 instructor ratio. So we do a boot camp training, And that is feedback on how you talk, everything you do in the club. We go to bars, lounges, nightclubs, we do daytime stuff, it's amazing. We're gonna do a conversation stimulator, direct mentoring, get your hands on conversational and social skill coaching, best possible dating and social life, we're including that in there. And for everybody who is interested in getting it today and that takes action on it today, we're gonna do something very, very special. Immediately, not tomorrow, not the day after, but immediately after this session, I'm gonna have a session with you guys. I'm gonna have a get in the zone or die session with you in the next room across the hall. So you don't have to wait on the program starting. Let's say you take Austin, for example. You don't gotta wait 2 weeks. We can start working on it right now, immediately after the session in the breakout room, and you're gonna be able to then get the most out of this week. I'm gonna prepare you for what's coming up, and I'll get you some tips and pointers, correct you on things you can do right now to help with that, all right? So that is immediately happening. So, breakout session room, get in the zone, die trying, conversation simulator, and also, of course, the boot camp. Usually, this stuff is pretty expensive. We're looking at usually like a $7,000 value for all this, okay? But we're gonna give you guys a 44, the language is so funny, a whopping 44% off on this today. So we're gonna give you a huge, huge discount on it. My thing is like, I wanna make it affordable to anybody who wants to get into the program. I wanna make it possible for anybody who wants to go. If you're like, you know, I don't know if I have the cash or whatever, I wanna find a way. I want to help you to be resourceful. Like I said, resourceful is important. I wanna help you find a way to be resourceful to get in there. So I'm gonna help you do that, give you guys a discount on that. So the special price for the enrollment today is only a $500 deposit for the program. The enrollment today is only $500 on the program. And listen, man, I'll be perfectly honest. If you can't find $500, I'm concerned for your life. Like straight up. Like if a crackhead can find money for crack on the street and you can't find that for yourself to invest in yourself and change your life, we have a huge issue here. And now I know that you have that because you got here today. You took the first step, so let's take it even further. I 100% deliver. I 100% deliver, guys. I 100% deliver. With anything I do, any program that I teach, there's a money-back guarantee. So if you are not completely satisfied, you will come see me on the program. You say, Madison, it's not really feeling it for me. I'll tweak the program to get it to what you need, your needs out of it. And if that doesn't work out, we'll shake hands, we'll part ways, and we'll still take the picture, you can go on your way. But I want to make it so it's possible for everybody to get this. The enrollment today is only $500, okay? We even have payment plans. That's the first deposit of a payment plan. We got payment plans available. So if you're like, man, I can't put the full thing down today, right? It's roughly a little over $2,000. If I can't put the full thing down today, all right, cool, I'll work it out with you. Daddy's got you, man. I got your back, all right? So as I mentioned, there's only 1 or 2 spots left per city. That's not a false like, ooh, 1 or 2 spots left for the city, guys. Better sign up now. No, it's legit, because I'm retiring the old content. I'm not teaching boot camps anymore. It's my final year of boot camps, all right? And everything I say, I actually mean. If you know me for years, you've watched my stuff for years, anytime I have said that I am going to do something, I have done it. And I want you to challenge me on that. Personally challenge me on that. So when I say this is my last year teaching these programs as is, it legit is my last year teaching these programs as is, okay? I got guys from 2020 that have been waiting, and I'm gonna fulfill the program in 2021. I've moved it up, but now, this is the time, okay? So I'll show you the dates again. We'll go back here to see the dates. Pick out one that stands in your mind. If you're here in Florida, just do it in Florida, bro. Don't even think about it. Just do it now. You're here in Florida, just think about it, do it now, okay? Because you're already here, rather than trying to like make it somewhere else that's in the city close to you. So that's the amount. For everybody online that's watching this, making this available to some guys on Zoom, you just go to www.miamiwintersummit.com/Madison. That's you over there online, okay? Everybody else in this room, really super simple, okay? You just go to the back. You're gonna meet the sales guys in the back, okay? They have their hands up, they're gonna, Okay, these guys are guys that come out with me, they train with me, they work with me. They're not going to get you. Turn around, just look at who has their hand up in the back. Raise your hands for a second. Okay, see the whole guys in the spiffy shirts, the fancy shirts looking like leisure suit dudes. Go and see those guys right after this, okay? If you're excited, even go now. If you're feeling like something you want to do, even go now. Beat out the rest of the crowd rather than waiting for everybody else to go, because there's only 1 or 2 spots left per city. I keep it very, very low instructor ratio, okay? Go and ask them questions. Do it right now. Do it right now, guys. Guys, wake up. Wake up, guys. Wake up. Do it right now. Because if you wait, somebody else is going to take the spot. Now, these guys are trained to not sell you anything. They're not going to sell you anything, but they'll at least listen to you about what some of the challenges are that you're having and some of the problems. And if it's a right fit, they'll get you into it. They'll talk about it if it's a right fit, but they're not going to pressure you into it. The conversation you're going to have with them is at least worth it. The conversation you're going to have is going to be worth it, at least know what's holding you back. But they're not going to pressure you into anything. They're going to find out if it's the right fit. They're designed to help you. And these are guys that I travel the world with. A lot of these guys too travel with me for about 2 years around the globe. They come up to my live programs. They know my stuff a lot. And again, anybody who goes and talks to them about the programs, we're going to have a breakout session immediately after this in the room across the hall, and we're going to talk further about this and what you need to understand and what's holding you back. So even if you're not sure and it's on your mind, don't assume you're going to hello. Even if you're not sure and it's on your mind, don't assume you're going to take action on it later on. Assume that you're go down to monkey level intelligence. Just be like, stand up, move, walk over. Okay, that's it. Don't think about it more than that, okay? Don't think about it more than that. Just stand up, move, go to the back now, and take immediate action on it, okay? What's a good time like now to change your life? Right now. Right now. Simple as that, okay? Do that. Do that. It'll be a game changer, and you'll be happy that you did it in that way, all right? So, any questions about what I said so far? Any questions about the program? Tour dates, any questions about anything I've talked about? I know you have questions. If you're still sitting in your chair, you have a question. Don't be ashamed, don't be shy. There's somebody around you right now that has the exact same question you're thinking about. Just hands up if you have a question, we'll pass the mic around, and I'll talk to you personally. Dude in the front here, you get a mic for the dude in a dope white shirt who's sitting in the front row. He's serious guy. Thank you. Yo, what's up? What's on your mind, man? What's going on in your life?
Actually, I think you were the first person I heard from RSD. I don't know if anybody follows Ray on Twitter, but he talks a lot about Semen, so...
Can you talk a little louder? I have a little trouble hearing you.
That you're the first person I heard from in RSD, because I follow this guy Ray on Twitter. Loves your content, so...
Thank you.
I took notes on what you said. I talked to a couple people and I've spoken about...
Bro, you're mic'd up. You gotta talk louder. Can you guys hear him? No! You gotta talk as if, here's what you do. First of all, on your program, we're gonna work on your voice tone. Straight up. Before your question even starts, I'm like, voice tone. That's why I love getting questions from the audience, by the way, because it helps me see what the guy's sticking point is. Usually the guy's like, how do I have a threesome? I'm like, bro, voice tone, okay? So let's work on your voice tone. So what I want you to do when you're talking, imagine you see the lady over there in the back, the wonderful blonde lady with that gentleman over there. She made her way all the way out here. She was confident enough to come out in a room full of dudes. Give her some respect. Put some respect on the conversation. Is it good for you, lady? She's going thumbs up. Okay. Keep her engaged. If you notice her attention drifts down, she's just like, fuck this, man. Keep her engaged, all right? Loud and attractive. Let's go.
Got you. So I took notes on your stop losses. Everybody has selfish interests. I've been hanging out with too many people that are 130 in that lower part, and they stay there. And so my problem is that I've been investing energy into them, but I haven't gotten anything in return. So back to the stop losses. I cut a lot of people out. But my question is, I don't want to be proud of it. I don't want to walk around oh, if you do something bad, I'm going to cut you out. So my question is, of everything that you've spoken about, how can I have stop losses and respect for myself, but just not be an asshole and not be cold?
Right, because you have a standard doesn't mean you're an asshole. It doesn't mean that you're because you're willing to walk away doesn't mean you're an asshole. right? Like, what it comes down to is opportunity cost. When you leave a relationship, business or personal, are you losing more by staying in that situation, or are you gaining more by leaving? That's what it comes down to. And you're gonna be acting through your own interest. It's okay, because everybody else is being selfish for themselves. So you gotta be a little bit selfish for you and say, hey, am I giving as much of the situation as I'm receiving? Am I losing a lot of situation, right? And then moving on. But the good thing is, once you upgrade your social life, your social circle, and the people who are around you, once you upgrade that, then you're gonna find people who also wanna give as much to you as you give to them. And that's true partnership and true synergy. You give as much to them as to you. Right? People are excited to give each other. Like, very often, like Owen or me or one of these guys will just call each other, hey man, how can I help you with something? What can I help you with? And the higher levels you go with higher value people, the more they'll give to you for no reason. Does that make sense?
Totally.
Cool. So let's work on this in detail. What I want you to do before you even sit down is go to the back and just talk to the guys. Just have a conversation and figure out what the gaps are and how you can fill it in. Because I feel like for you personally, seeing how you are, came in the front row, great shirt, you're a serious dude. I feel like you're on the cusp of just breaking through. You're like right there. And a few tweaks will be definitely worth it for you.
Thank you.
Cool? Thank you, man. All right, anybody else? He's taking the mic with him. Pass the mic to our team. Thanks, dude. All right, anybody else? Orange shirt, and we got Wicked Afro, like Questlove over there.
Thank you. I am Mike Presley. Been in this for about 16 years. I found it when I was 15. My question is, the Madison 91 material, will that always be accessible to us once you're done, or once you're done, are you pulling that too?
Cool. So he's asking about the digital programs I have online. Those probably won't be available for another week. Like after they're done, Like I'm removing it from the internet.
No, I mean like the program I've already got.
If you bought it, great. Now the advantage for most people is if they have the program, they're like, I got all this stuff, but I think I need some tweaks in person. I think I want to like have the motivation in person to do it, right? Like there's something that can be said from learning in person versus the digital programs. They're sick. The digital programs are absolutely like out of this world, man. If you have the motivation to do it, it's out of this world, the digital programs. But if you're somebody who's like, you got it and you have trouble implementing it, then in-person helps as well, right? It's like, imagine doing like a Zoom coaching call versus like an in-person trainer personal call. That's the difference of it. So, I mean, it really comes down to you. You got to ask yourself, now that you have it, how much of it are you putting into practice?
Before that, I was like, will it always be accessible to us, or are you going to move that too?
No, if you bought it, you have it.
Okay.
If you bought it, you have it. If you didn't buy it, it's going to be gone probably in a few weeks. I'd even guess by the end of the week, because I'm removing all that stuff. Yeah.
But yeah, that was my question, was if I will always have it since I bought it.
Okay. And also, what was the reason that you decided to get the program? What was it that you need to work on?
Well, the reason why I started on that is because I basically have been going through like the shadow life almost. I've been following RSD all the way from 2000, I was 15. And I always just watched all the videos and looked at all the content and just kept on doing it, but I've been in relationships throughout that time, so I never like jumped in and finally because I was in a relationship for 9 years. All of my 20s was engaged for 6.5 years and was virgin up until 2 months ago. So
Awesome.
So I decided once Owen had put out the video and made something available to us, I was like, oh, well, since this is kind of the last hurrah, let me finally take steps, finally meet everybody in person, because
Right.
I essentially grew up with Jeffy and the gang, everybody,
Uh-huh.
and you as well.
What's the biggest thing that's happened to you in terms of like after your relationship, the the dark hole in your soul from being in a relationship for so long and then getting out of it? What's the thing that you need to fix?
Well, the biggest thing now is, even though I've become one with the woman in rapid succession more recently, is that choice for control of having the options and being able to one, go out into the field as well, and instead of falling into it, it's being able to have that choice. Or,
right.
The power to have the actions.
Right. Okay. So I'll tell you what I think. So is it choice to approach or choice of better results? Which one?
Garnering the results.
Result. Okay. Cool. So on a scale of 1 to 10, what do you rate yourself?
I would rate myself a 7.
A 7. Based on what?
Based on generally my optimistic outlook and personality.
Okay.
And with skills with women,
Okay.
it's
okay. What do you think you deserve?
What I think I deserve is
on a scale of 1 to 10.
An 8.
Okay. So you. Okay. So. Interesting. All right. So let's be real here. If you rate on a scale of 1 to 10, if you rate yourself a 7, and you think on a scale of 1 to 10 you deserve an 8, what are you bringing to the table that makes that worth it for the woman? I know, hard question.
Well, I don't have any real world results because
right. So at this moment it's delusional. At this moment it's delusional. It's like you're borrowing. Like I'm going to be great one day, but it hasn't happened yet, right? So what you need to do. The first thing I'm going to tell you, bro, is you came out of this long-term relationship, your internals are going to be jacked up, like twisted up like spaghetti. You got to work on these internals. So in the program, okay, in the program, you got to either go through the internal stuff or
your mic's on, right?
Yeah. What you just told me is completely delusional. Completely delusional. Completely delusional. If you think you're going to get an 8 coming out fresh out the gate and you still have the internals that are fucked up. So here's what I tell you. Check out the boss stuff. It's great. In fact, if you have the boss stuff, you actually get a discount on the boot camp, I believe. We take the deposit that you got for the Madison Legacy package and we move it forward. Come see me in the hallway. I'm going to wrap up in 2 minutes, guys. We'll wrap up in 2 minutes. Come see me in the hallway. We're going to talk with the rest of the dudes. We'll just talk about that challenge you're having and see what your actual game plan is to change your internals, okay? So I'm gonna hop off in a second. One more guy I wanna give the mic to was our Afro brother over here. Soul brother number 1.
Hey guys, my name is Joshua Lane. First and foremost, I just want to congratulate Madison for coming out, sharing stage. A lot of knowledge, she's been doing it for years, so I just want to personally congratulate you and thank you for doing that.
Thank you, man. What are you buttering? Thank you. What are you buttering me up for?
I give you your due respect. But my question is, because a lot of times you hear people say you have to deal with your trauma, and all of us have faced different things, whether it's a rejection, a failed relationship,
right,
not attaining the goal that we set out to achieve.
Yeah.
And then the crazy thing about it, that could have been 5 years ago. It could have been 10 years ago. So, in your opinion, what does dealing with trauma look like? What is effective?
Yeah.
Dealing with trauma look like?
Excellent. Thank you very much. I already knew your question before you got into it. So here's the thing. All right, this is gonna be the last thing I say. This is gonna be a call to action for everybody in this room. Who here in this room has trauma? Some kind of trauma, generational or okay, that's half the room. Trauma. What kind of trauma is it? Just shout it out.
Wasted time and effort.
Wasting time and effort. Addiction. Okay, abuse, porn, I'm guessing as well. Some people, okay. Here's what I'm gonna say. By the way, for the cameras, I'm gonna just walk. I'm just gonna walk, just fuck it, okay? So if you have any trauma in your life, this is very, very important to you, okay? I want you guys to understand this stuff because I know Julian's gonna come up tomorrow and he's gonna talk about, or the day after, he's gonna talk about trauma, okay? This is very, very important. Should you deal with your trauma? Abso-fucking-lutely. Absolutely. If you have trauma, learn how to deal with it. It's something that will impact you in your mind and hold you back. It's like bad programming in your life that's going to hold you back, okay? So if you have trauma, absolutely deal with it. Here's the problem that I have with trauma, is that some people think by sitting there and meditating on it, or just like thinking about it, or just feeling better that it's going to change stuff. And it will. It's 50% of the puzzle, okay? Dealing with trauma is 50% of it. But what's the other 50%? Action and a game plan. Action and a game plan. People say to me, what's more important, inner game or outer game? The answer is both. You gotta have both. You gotta have the internals and the externals. If you just feel good and you don't have a coach, a mentor, or an action plan, you're just an excited idiot with no actionable results or skills. Just an excited idiot. That's what you would be. Smiling, happy, go lucky. You go to the club, people think you're on drugs because you're so happy, and then you leave alone, or you have no skills. People that are good business people aren't just happy idiots, they have skills as well. They know about bouncing back in a recession. They know about putting stop losses in their life. They know about being able to look at things that are cause and effect. They know about opportunity cost. They know about reserving their energy. They know about tribes of mentors. They know about all these things as high value people. They don't just feel good. Feeling good is the biggest scam and bullshit ever. You go on the internet, it's all self-development, feel good. You go on Instagram, swipe, swipe, swipe. Will Smith said, just be your best self, bro. Drake said, I love you, girl, the way you are. Drake did not say that shit. I know he didn't, okay? He didn't say that shit, he just put a meme. So what I'm encouraging you to do is don't just think about the trauma and be like, I'm healed now. And then you just stand there with a big smile on your face and you have no skills, okay? Being able to approach a stranger at the right angle is a skill. Being able to have voice projection is a skill. Being able to start a conversation is a skill. Being able to get to a social hook point is a skill. Being able to lead that somewhere is a skill. Being able to tease and tell stories is a skill. Being able to find what you're passionate about is a skill. The ability to look for opportunities in the world and be the first person to act on it is a skill. So don't just get stuck in dealing with good feelings. That's the biggest trap, okay? And the last good feeling I'm gonna leave you with right now before I close this up, the last good feeling is, if you liked what I said, who here enjoyed what I said today? Yay, you feel great. No, that's the whole point of it. You feel great, but you don't have the fucking skill. Go get the skill. Get the skill. Don't just feel great. I feel like I learned a lot of stuff from Madison today that I don't have any reference or skill or framework to implement. But I feel like I've learned a lot. I feel great. That feeling will go away tomorrow because you don't have a path and a strategy. So what I am telling you to do, I am double dog fucking daring you to do, is come see me in the back with the team. Talk to me about it. Left foot, right foot, left foot, right foot. This is a matter of survival and getting in and not dying alone or dying in an opportunity that you want to be, okay? 2020 happened, you weren't where you wanted to be. That was the big wake-up call. You weren't where you wanted to be. If you want to be there, let's do it. Let's fucking crush it. Let's make 2021 a story for the ages where you don't just feel good, but you are objectively getting the result that you want, all right? So come see me, we'll talk about it. That's it. Thank you very much, guys. And cheers. All right. Oh, standing applause. Wow. Wow. Dang it. Dang it. Damn, Daniel. Standing applause. All right. All right.
Yes, sir, Steve.